Okay, so now we are recording. So hello to everybody. I see that there are people arriving. Crystal is with us too. So we are going to, continue with the things that we have in questions for conversations in the last, I think is the last page of the unit. No, it's the last. The last page, no. So we have where it says questions for conversation. Please go to that page. Questions for conversation in the unit 3, en la parte 3, part 3, que está pendiente, hasta ahí llegamos. Hicimos la número 1, la número 2, y número 3. Okay, so questions for conversations. Number 1, if you want to relax after class, what will you watch? If you have some free time on Saturday, will you study more? Aquí llegué, martes. Okay, so I'm going to start with this. This is part of conversation, these things, and then we have to review something about vocabulary. And then after we finish with this, because this is important for your grammar test, and then we are going to go to the speaking skills, right? Okay, questions for conversation. If you want to relax, we did it. I'm going to start from number 3. Because number 1 is very easy. If you want to relax after class, what will you watch? But I can say in terms of grammar, I can check if you're answering in the correct way or in the incorrect way, right? Okay, for example, Braulio, if I ask you, if you want to relax after class, what will you watch?
I would probably watch YouTube video.
Okay, YouTube video, all right. Okay, all right. And what kind of video will you watch? Musical video or a film video or maybe a concert video or a sports
Probably
video?
A podcast, actually.
Okay, all right. And Juan, in your case, if you want to relax after class, what will you watch?
I watch comedy.
I will watch, careful with this because it's first clause. I will watch
videos of comedy.
Videos of what?
Of comedy.
Yeah, comedy videos. Okay, I will watch comedy videos. All right. Now, number 2, this is for Beatriz, Gloria Beatriz. If you have some free time, Gloria, on Saturday, tomorrow is Saturday, right? So if you have some free time on Saturday, will you study more? For example, will you study more about the units, about the grammar, about culture, about speaking? Will you study more?
Yes, I will study more.
And what aspects will you focus on?
In grammar.
In grammar, okay, on grammar. I will focus on grammar. On grammar, focus on grammar, all right. And thank you. And in the case of Crystal, what medicine will you take if you catch the flu? Crystal, what medicine will you take if you catch the flu?
Teacher, to be honest, I'm a little bit lost. I don't know how.
Crystal,
what are you reading?
Crystal,
yes, but I just explained the last class that my notebook can open 2 pages. So if I am in Zoom, I can see any else.
Crystal, but this is what we are checking, is the last part of the guía. Estamos checando la última parte de la guía 3, la última parte.
Yeah, but I can open it.
You can open it. What are you going to do then to check it if you have the test? Because these guías are very important for the test. Well, you can try to please ask for help to a friend. Pídale ayuda a alguien. Please ask for help to someone. Que le ayude por último a bajar la guía. No ahora, porque no va a poder ahora. Not now, but tomorrow, for example. There are always nice people. Siempre hay alguien bueno por ahí que aparece, un angelito, an angel, that can help you. Okay, let's go on with then with Carlos. Carlos, what medicine will you take if you catch the flu? This is if clause type number 1.
Okay, I would take a lot of paracetamol. Yeah, and I would stay in bed for like a month.
Okay, so you are a fan of paracetamol.
Oh yeah,
I know. So you're always buying paracetamol for all the things, headaches, the flu. Okay. All right. But
It's an addict.
yeah, maybe you're an addict. You're addicted to paracetamols, right? This is not very good. Don't take too many paracetamols, right?
I should
You
stop.
can take some herbal teas or you can take other things, right, in order to feel better. Okay, and number 4, this is for you again, Carlos. What will you need if you want to give up food high in calories? What will you need if you want to give up food high in calories? What will you need?
Well, first of all, I would need willpower. First of
Yeah,
all,
of course, that's important. I will need the same as you. I think you, and all the rest. We will
yeah.
need willpower, right, in order to give up food high in calories. Otherwise, it's very difficult, right? So willpower is the key. Otherwise, we cannot succeed. I mean, in order to give up food high in calories. What are the
Yeah.
food that are high in calories? Can you mention
Mm.
some?
Well, fast food usually is the one that has higher calories. I think I'm not quite sure, but I would name some like fries, hamburgers, hot dogs or completos, and many other. That's our idea, okay?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, I know. Yes, you're right. They are very delicious, right? That's why we need to have a willpower. And what
Yeah.
technique will you use if you want to control overeating, Braulio? What technique will you use if you want to control overeating?
I think the best thing you can do is to stay away from food that doesn't benefit you. So if
Okay.
you're hungry and you always have, I don't know, healthy food around, you'll start eating healthy food.
All right. Okay. Yeah. There are some people say that there are some methods, or techniques to control overeating. Some people think that we have to start thinking about the food that we want to eat. And this, in our brain, our brain starts, thinking that we can imagine this kind of food, but the idea is that our, body doesn't want to eat that kind of food. I don't know if it works, but this is one of the techniques that some people sometimes use. And in your case, Gloria, what would you do, Gloria, if you are invited to eat fugu in an international restaurant? What will you do? Will you eat or you won't eat? Or will you make some questions before, or you just accept it? What will you do if you're
Maybe
invited?
I will ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. What are some of the questions you will ask?
If the chef has a license.
Yes, this is a very important question. The first thing that you have to do. Why is it so important, Beatriz? Gloria Beatriz.
Because fugu is really a danger for us. So it's very difficult to cook it.
Yeah, to cook. Yeah, it's difficult to cook, and also it's difficult to get the parts that contains, poison. Right? Yes, I think this is very important. Now, if you want to eat, for example, Juan, if you want to eat pizza napolitana, that this is in one of the units that we studied, which ingredients will it contain to be the authentic one?
This needs tomato, cheese, chicken.
Chicken?
Yeah, could be. Tomato sauce. And some spices.
Yeah. Okay. Well, according to what we studied in class when we reviewed this issue in one of the units, right, about the pizza napolitana, that there is a reading about that. They say that they are very strict with the pizza napolitana, right? So the ingredients must include and they say type 00 flour, that this is sold in Italy, right? In up to 3 or they need up to 3 or 4 ounces of, they use San Marzano red tomatoes, San Marzano tomatoes, right? And also they say that it's very important for them, if you want to eat a real Napolitana pizza, is that you need fresh mozzarella di bufala. This is the cheese that they use, right? It has to be fresh. So the cheese has to be fresh mozzarella di bufala. This is what they say in the book, right? So careful with this, okay? It's not like maybe the one that we eat here in Chile is not the real one, the authentic one, right? Because maybe we can find mozzarella cheese in Chile in supermarkets, right? But San Marzano tomatoes probably in that section and supermarkets where you find food from other countries, maybe you can find, right? But I'm not pretty sure. Okay, go to the next sheet of paper that says right or wrong. Right or wrong. Read the sentences and say if they are correct or incorrect. This is for the grammar test. If you avoid light meals at night, you will sleep better. Is this correct or incorrect? If you avoid light meals at night, you will sleep better. Is this right or is this wrong? What do you think? This is
Right.
okay? Right? All of you, do you
Shouldn't
agree
it
with
be
Krista?
heavy?
Carlos?
Shouldn't it be heavy? Or
Yeah.
Something like that? Or-
Yeah, I think there is one thing that is not correct. If you avoid heavy meals, not light meals, if you avoid heavy meals at night, like, for example, I don't know, beans, or maybe it could be, for example, I don't know, corn, something prepared with corn, right? That is kind of heavy at night. So if you avoid heavy meals at night, you will sleep better, right? So light is not correct here according to the context. So you have to use the adjective heavy, not light, if you want to sleep better. Now, in number 2 says, if you cut down up fatty food, you will lose weight. If you cut down up fatty food, you will lose weight. Is it correct or incorrect? Is there any mistake or not? Something wrong or this is right? If you cut down up fatty food, you will lose weight. Claudio?
I mean, I think the answer is yes, but I'm not quite sure if it is actually true.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing that is incorrect here, Braulio, is the verb, because the verb is to cut down on. That in English is a phrasal verb that has 2 particles. It's in the book, in the unit. Cut down on, that means in English reduce, okay? So if you cut down, right, not up, if you cut down on, up is incorrect. If you cut down on fatty food, you will lose weight. And the meaning is to cut down on is reduce. So if you reduce fatty food, you will lose weight, okay? Number 3, if you give out your bad habits, you will live longer. Kata, can you try this sentence, number 3? If you give out your bad habits, you will live longer. What is correct or incorrect? If you give out your bad habits, you will live longer. For example, your bad habits, for example, cigarettes, a lot of alcohol, etc. If you give out your bad habits, you will live longer. Right, Kata, or wrong?
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
but I don't know about give out
Yeah, okay, Catalina, at least you have the idea, the feeling of there is something rare here, right? Good, because here, give out is the problem. You're right, because it's not give out, it's to give when you stop doing something. How do you say that in English? When you stop doing something, to give, what is the verb, the phrasal that you use? When you stop, give up, exactly, give up.
Give it up.
Yeah, give up. So out is incorrect here. So the correct thing is if you give up your bad habits, you will live longer, right? If you stop, your bad habits, you will live longer. That's the idea. Bagel is commonly eaten for dinner with various spreads and fillings, most notably cream cheese. According to the unit, in the unit that we have a reading that talks about this bagel, there is a short information about bagel, which is typical in New York, mainly in the US, but in the most important cities where you find that everybody likes having this kind of bread is in New York. Well, bagel is commonly eaten for dinner with various spreads and fillings, with most notably cream cheese. Is there something wrong here, Braulio, or not?
No.
No? According to the culture, according to the book, according to the readings that we have studied, they say, in the book says that bagel is commonly eaten for breakfast, not for dinner, for breakfast. And you know that the American people remember that breakfast is the most important meal of the day for them. They eat a lot when they have breakfast. And they eat a lot of bagel with various spreads. Maybe they can add, mainly cream cheese, right? And lots of other fillings. They add other things to this bagel, right? All right, so this is not for dinner, for breakfast. 5, ceviche is an Italian dish. It is also a seafood dish made by using the juice of citrus, in this case lemons, or some people also use limes, to cook a mixture of cooked fish and seafood. Is this right or is this wrong?
I think the wrong part is that it's Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, is Peruvian or Chilean, the ceviche.
Yeah, exactly.
But not Italian.
Yeah, it's not Italian. Good, this is not Italian. So according to the book, they say that ceviche is Latin American. It's a Latin American dish, right? You can find in Chile, in other countries too. So ceviche is a Latin American dish. But there is another mistake. Read it. It's also a seafood dish made by using the juice of citrus. This is what we do here in Chile. In this case, we use lemons, right? Or limes. In other countries, for example, in Peru, sometimes they use limes to cook a mixture of cooked fish and seafood. Is the mixture of
another wrong part is the cooked.
Yeah, not cooked. Hey, Crystal, cooked.
Fish.
Yeah.
Cooked.
Yes, because the fish is, how do you say the opposite? Crystal. Crudo. How do you say crudo, Crystal? It's in the unit also about food. How do you say crudo, Crystal?
Raw.
Raw, exactly, raw. Or you can also say uncooked, right?
Raw.
But raw is the word, raw, R-A-W, raw fish and seafood. Okay, number 6, if you eat young food, you will probably have high blood pressure. This is what maybe will happen to people. If you eat young food for many years, for example, you will probably have high blood pressure. Is this true or not? According to the doctors, according to the information that we have.
Right.
Right, yes, this is correct. Yes, this is correct. Number 2, here we have a very, let's say, slight mistake, but it's very important. If you lose weight, I'll have to buy new clothes according to my new size. You, as future teachers of English, what is the mistake here? That is not correct. If you lose weight.
The word weight is
Yeah,
incorrect.
what is the word weight? Because we need a noun, right, Crystal? Yeah,
Yes.
Crystal, you need a noun. What is the noun here? Instead of weigh, weigh is a verb. What is the noun for this verb, weigh? Si pierdes peso, weigh is the noun. What is the noun? If you lose?
Weight.
Weight, correct. Weight. Es con la T. Es exactly as it is written, but you have to add T. Se le agrega la T. Weight. Ese es el noun. Weigh is the verb, which is a regular verb. But when it's a noun, you add T. Weight. Weight. If you lose weight, I'll have to buy new clothes according to my new size. Okay, do you know how to make couscous? Couscous? Oh, yes. I'm showing you if you want. Okay, great. Anything wrong here in this short dialogue? Do you know how to make, do you know how to prepare couscous? Oh, yes. I'm showing you if you want. Okay, great.
Maybe it would be better to say, I can show you.
All right.
If you want.
Mm-hmm. Do you know
Or
how
you
to
can
make
say,
couscous?
I
Oh,
will
yes.
show you.
Yeah, that's it, Juanito. Good. The
Yeah.
best thing is I'll show you. Remember, in the moment
Yeah.
of the speaking, this is very common when we, you know, in the vocabulary of food, right? I'll show you if you want. I'll show you if you want. It's an if clause anyway, but we always use I will. I'll show you. I'll show you if you want. No, I am showing you. Okay, people have known for years that caffeinated drinks make you more tired and more alert. Is there something wrong here? People have known for years that caffeinated drinks make you more tired and more alert.
It is not tired.
Yeah,
It's more active
yeah, it could be, yeah,
or energized.
yeah, or energized, okay, it could be, yeah. Caffeinated drinks make you, I think, the problem is more tired, porque it could be less tired, podría ser también. Less en vez de more, el error, y queda bien, the context is right. Make you less tired and more alert. Less tired, because you feel less tired, you feel better, in other words, less tired and more alert. So more, instead of you make you more, I would put here, make you less tired. Okay, caffeine changes the natural sleep cycle of the human body. Caffeine changes the natural sleep cycle, the cycle that we have of the human body. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes, it is. It's correct. This is correct. And number 11, the phrasal verb cut down on means to cut into pieces. Cut down on means to cut into pieces. Remember what I told you some minutes ago. The phrasal verb cut down on means in English to cut into pieces.
No.
What does it mean, Kata?
Reduce.
Yes, good. Reduce. Yes, reduce. That's the meaning. Reduce. Cut down on. It has two particles. Cut down on means reduce. It's a very common phrasal verbs in English, and in the unit, it's everywhere when you talk about food. Yeah. Number 12, it says, it's convenient to cut in snacks between meals. It's convenient to, what is convenient? If you want to lose weight, for example, it's convenient to cut in snacks between meals. Correct or incorrect, Braulio? It's convenient to cut in snacks between meals.
Cut down?
Yeah, cut down. To cut down means to remove from your diet, for example, right? So it's to cut, it's convenient to cut down, not to cut in snacks between meals. To cut down means to remove from your diet. Good. Obese rates are climbing fast, and we need to find new techniques for controlling overeating. Is there something wrong here?
I think it is something wrong.
Yeah, what?
Obesity?
Yeah, it's
Instead of
obesity.
obese?
Yeah, no, obese. Yes, it's obesity. Good. Obesity rates are climbing fast. The obesity rates, right? Obesity rates are climbing fast, and we need to find new techniques for controlling overeating. Yes. 14, imaginary eating. This is a technique, you know, I mean, in order to reduce weight. It's called imaginary eating. That there is a very short paragraph about this technique in the book. Imaginary eating involves thinking about eating to reduce craves. Is there something wrong here? Maybe there is a noun that is not correct. It sounds rare.
To reduce craving?
Yeah, reduce cravings. Yes, reduce cravings. What is cravings, Kata? When we talk about food, cravings?
When you want something?
Yeah, when you want something, right. This is when you want something. For example, sometimes lots of people sometimes need, you know, to reduce cravings because they start gaining weight, right? And for example, women when are pregnant, they usually have lots of cravings, right? So they want to eat, for example, a bar of chocolate, or they want to eat something sweet, a piece of cake, or whatever. Cravings, good. 15, what about 15? 15 says here, Crystal, Fugu chefs had, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. I mean, it's wrong here. Yeah, had to get, aquí says, no sé qué pasó ahí, pero es had to get licenses for preparing and serving pufferfish. Even with more regulations, Fugu killed 2,500 Japanese people between 1945 and 1975. Okay, Fugu chefs had to get licenses for preparing and serving pufferfish. Even with more regulations, Fugu killed lots of people, baby, incredible. Lots of Japanese people. 2,500 Japanese people between these 2 years, 1945 and 1975. What do you think?
I read for this, but I can't search because it says had go, but yes.
No, I just corrected, Crystal. Lo acabo de corregir, pues les dije, Fugu chefs had to get. Okay, hubo no sé qué pasó ahí, algo pasó ahí. Had to get. Eso no está bien, es had to get licenses for preparing and serving puffer fish. Y ahora, con el had to, porque tienes que arreglarlo. Had to, debería decir had to get licenses for preparing and serving puffer fish.
Maybe it can be had because until today, chef serves fugu fish. No, I don't know.
No, I think it's correct, Krista. This is correct because Fugu chefs had to get, you know, licenses for preparing these puffer fish or Fugu. It has these two names. It can be puffer fish, some people call puffer fish, or others call Fugu, which is the same fish. Even with more regulations, Fugu killed 2,500 Japanese people between these 2 years. The problem was in private homes. In private homes, people who started preparing this fugu at homes, because these are the ones that sometimes don't know how to prepare fugu. And that's why, you know, fugu continued killing people, but in less quantities. Because in restaurants, you can feel safer because the chefs now, you know, had to, I mean, now in this moment, they have to have it, but in the past, they had to get because they didn't have in the past. They didn't have licenses. So, you know, the government started, you know, sending them to institute in order to study how to prepare fugu, especially to those people who didn't know how to do it or who were not certified. Okay, so this is true. And the last one, it says, at the Tokyo University of Fisheries, Yuhi Nagashima is a scientific, studies fugu poison carefully. And he hopes now to develop, an active toxin. This is a medicine that will stop people from dying from fugu poisoning, because they are still worried. Because although the chefs now are being prepared, with this, the way to how to prepare this kind of fish, there are still people that are dying. But as I told you before, the people that are dying are the ones that are in private homes. And also because that was many years ago, but now in this moment, this is the problem, right? And sometimes people who are very poor in China, in some neighborhoods, for example, sometimes they start looking for food in the trash bins or in the trash containers, big ones, and sometimes they see that there are fish in these containers, and they just they take this fish and they prepare it by their own, and this is terrible because they can get immediately contaminated and sometimes they die because the poison is very powerful, right? So it kills you immediately. Remember that it paralyzes first the lungs, so and you can die very soon, right, if you don't receive medical attention immediately. Okay, so this is, I think, at the end of this part. Now I want to invite you to go to the guía, this one that I sent you, que se les mandé anoche, this one, that is called, está en el correo, no en el Google Classroom, porque el Google Classroom se portó mal anoche, está en el correo. So I had to send it to your email. Reviewing the English speaking skills. It's an intermediate level. Let's have a look at some topics of our units studied in this semester. Okay, so I put in some cases, en algunos casos, I put you the unit where the information is in case that this weekend you want to know more, right? For example, in the individual topics, I wrote about, how many? 18, but I have to write more. Yeah, it says here, for instance, according to the text, Life in Color, Unit 1A, it says here, can you name 3 ways we use color and explain? Yeah, do you remember something about Life in Color? Imagine that you pick up this piece of paper or you tell us the number. You say, number 1. Okay, so number 1 is, according to the text, Life in Color, can you name the 3 ways we use color and can you explain? We use color in 3 ways. Do you remember? Yeah, who can explain this? La Gloria, puede ser. Gloria is very responsible, and I think that she has been studying, so she can be ready to answer, these kind of things, right?
As I remember, identity or not?
Yes, you're right. Yes, baby. Good. What else?
Decoration.
Decoration, yes, that's right. Bien.
And I can't remember the last one.
Who can help your partner? ¿Quién puede ayudar a su compañera? Who can help your partner here? She says decoration. Yes, decoration. Identity. And the other one was messages. Do you remember?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So can you talk about the first one, for example, when we talk about identity?
I don't remember that much.
You don't remember much about identity? Do you remember that it says in a certain way that the color gives a sense of identity, gives the schoolboy, a sense of identity, a group identity? That, for example, that the color shows that this boy, for example, belongs to a community.
Okay, track community?
Yeah, Quechua. Yes, Quechua community. Exactly, Quechua community. Yes, that's right. That's you know one of the things that has to do with the colors, right? Yeah. Also, a sense of identity. Remember when we talk about the colors that some people wear? Do you remember? For example, traditional uniforms. That's also represent identity. Do you remember when the uniforms that people wear, for example? That we discussed that, I remember. Colors that express an individuality, for example, through decoration, right? So this color expresses here individuality. So when we talk about decoration, and what else? And for example, when people have a face painting, do you remember, for festivals, for example, or wearing the in color means sending messages using colors in packagings or labeling brands. That means that they are sending you some messages. For example, in products, when they put labels in red or in black, that they are sending you some messages that you have to read, for example, the labels according to the food, because sometimes the food contains a lot of calories, or they are high in calories, or they contain a lot of sugar, etc. Right? So this is the idea of Gloria. You remember something, but this is the idea. You're right. So you have to go to Unit 1A. This in parentheses 1A. I recommend you to read the text about colors in order to be ready to understand. I mean, this question, right? In number 2, I'm going to choose any of you, cualquiera, any of you. Juan, it could be Carlos, Braulio, Crystal, Cata, Gloria. Talk about your leisure activities on a typical Sunday. This is in the same unit, in unit 1 that you reviewed with Ricardo. Talk about your leisure activities on a typical Sunday. What would you say? Braulio, Crystal, Cata, Juan. Try to practice because this is the only way that we can help you, and especially with the pronunciation and the grammar. Yeah.
So my main leisure activities are playing video games with my friends online. Sometimes watching things on the internet. And other times just drawing.
All right. Okay. And what about you, Crystal? What about your leisure activities on a typical Sunday?
It is on Sunday. I usually cook with my mom. I don't know. We prepare some desserts. And sometimes we prepare the dinner together. And I think that is all.
Yeah. Okay. But in case that you're in an exam, si está en un examen, international exam, va a tener que, como dice la gente, hay que nadar en la piscina. ¿Qué significa eso? Que uno tiene que... Aquí, Cristal, tienes que ser súper viva, rápida y tirarte aunque no hagas ninguna actividad de tiempo libre, porque si no contestas en un examen esta pregunta te van a sacar mal. Entonces tú tienes que hacer, ¿qué es lo que vas a hacer? Tienes que prepararte así como la cuestión de aquí de la cabeza mental, y por último decir, por ejemplo, talk about your leisure activities on typical Sunday. Por último piensa en lo general que hace la gente, y con eso tienes que salir de ahí, tienes que tirarte nomás, tírese. Y para poder, porque si no te van a decir, esta niñita no sabe la pregunta, no respondió bien la pregunta, así que no tiene el punto que le corresponde. Entonces, si yo digo, talk about your leisure activities on a typical Sunday, tú tienes que decir, por último, inventa, pero que tenga que ver con leisure activities, para que tenga sentido la respuesta. ¿Ya? Así que piense lo que le estoy diciendo, porque si después en el futuro va a tomar una prueba internacional, no te puedes quedar ni callada, ni tampoco puedes decir, no sé, ni puedes decir, no hago esto, porque te van a perjudicar. Así que no, tiene que salir. Siempre uno tiene que estar ahí, tener en la manguita guardado qué es lo que va a decir, siempre para poder salir adelante, porque si no... Ya, a ver, talk about the colors that are associated with love and anger. Carlos, talk about the colors that are associated with love and anger. Can you talk about that, Carlos? The colors that are associated with love and anger?
I usually associate love and anger with red. I mean, anger
Yeah,
with when someone
that's correct. Yeah.
turn
Yes.
red.
Yes. Okay. Yes. You see, red is the color, as you see. Red is the color that is associated, you know, with love and anger. Both red. So, for example, what can you say about love? What do people, for example, use to express love and also associated with color?
To express love. I mean,
Hmm?
well, people use many things to express love. I mean, even emojis on WhatsApp or that sort of things. They
Yeah.
use it
Yeah.
with a little face. How can I say this? Kissing or
Yeah.
that's our idea.
Yeah.
Maybe some other people for Valentine's Day they
But
send.
what do most people give to show that they love someone?
Well, they send maybe they send letters to each other, messages, gifts. What other thing could be?
What do they give?
They give.
People that are very traditional.
Other
for
thing
example.
besides that? Well,
Yeah, people that are very traditional. What do they usually
very
give?
traditional.
I know.
Flowers.
Yeah.
A bucket of flowers.
Flowers. Okay, they give flowers, roses, red roses most of the time. They say that it is said.
Yeah.
This is not what I think. This is what the book what I have read. They say that red roses, you know, express love. So if you give red roses to someone, it means that you are expressing him or her your love. That's one thing. Okay, red roses. Okay, and well, what you said is also correct, right? Because it's, but I'm telling you about this. And red is also a commonly, you know, I mean, the color of anger. For example, how do you express your anger? In your face, for example, when your face becomes red, you see, when you are angered, you see. So this is another thing, according to some studies that people sometimes, you know, I mean, do, is that they say that red is also commonly, you know, the color of anger, and red in the face, for example. What else? And
well,
yes,
you can also get. You can also say that some people get or turn red when they are embarrassed because of something.
Yeah, exactly. That's correct. Yeah, when they feel embarrassed about something, yeah, they usually, you know, I mean, their faces are red. Yes, that's right. In what other situations can you think that, you know, for example, you say red is usually, you know, we can see that we see people that get, you know, with this color. In the case of, you know, when they get anger, when they are anger, the color of anger, right, is red. Okay, when you love someone also, what else?
Well, there was one thing about, I don't know how to say this, toreros usually use red, but
bullfighters.
Bullfighters.
Bullfighters. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They use a red piece of cloth or something like that. I'm not quite sure.
Yes.
To anger the bull even more.
Yeah.
And that's something remarkable.
Yes, that's another important thing. Yes, and remember the sports clubs sometimes also, you know, wear red in their, you know, I mean, uniforms or whatever, right? For example, some sports team sometimes also wear red because they think that red is the color of, you know, of winning, for example, something, right? So that's why sometimes it says red is for winners. You know, there is an article about that. Red is for winners, they say. So that's
Yeah.
why some people sometimes, you know, wear red. I have heard that they say, imagine that I have an important meeting. It's an important because I need the help of some, let's say, authorities. And people say, go with a red dress because red means energy, and red, you know, gives a sense like a positive energy. So try to wear red. So this is, but these are things that maybe are among people. It's not that something that is proved, right? So this is something that people have in mind only. Um,
Yeah.
I don't think that if you wear red, you're going to succeed in a meeting. Maybe I cannot succeed if I wear red, right? Okay, so it says here, talk about the role of color in sports. The text is about red is for winners. Yeah, this is something very important that I would invite you to read if you have forgotten, because you have been long time that you haven't, read maybe. But red is for winner is an important text because it says when sports, you know, competitors, for example, are equally matched, mean are as good as the others, that's equally matched. The team dressed in red is more likely to win, according to a news study. So there are people, a new study, not news, a new study. There are people who have been studying, you know, and these are the anthropologists, right? Anthropologists have studied a lot, you know, the use of color in different things, right? So I think it would be a good idea that you can have a look at this reading in order to, you know, to support your answer about the role of color, of color. It could be any color, not only red, in sports, right? Okay, so this is what I'm going to ask you this one because this is more open, más abierta. Dice, what pieces of advice are appropriate to make a good first impression when going for an interview? So what pieces of advice are appropriate? Any of you can give one. Gloria, Carlos, Braulio, Cata, Crystal. What pieces of advice are appropriate, are adequate, are good to make a good first impression, especially when you go to a job interview? What pieces of advice would you give to
I
someone?
remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that we discussed that
yeah.
blue jeans or jeans in general we don't have to wear to go on interview job.
Yeah, okay. So what do you have to wear? What should you wear instead, Crystal? What should you
You
wear
can use a
instead?
tuxedo.
Tuxedo, oh, so
You can,
elegant.
A suit?
I
yeah,
think a suit,
obviously.
yeah, a suit. Tuxedo are
A
commonly
dark suit.
worn, yeah, when you have a wedding party, a reception, yeah. But if you go to an interview, it could be a suit, yeah, right? Formal clothes in general, Crystal. Formal clothes in the case of women, formal clothes in the case of men too. All right, what else? What else? Can you think about this? What else? What other things as piece of advice, as pieces of advice are appropriate? I mean, to make a good first impression. Only the clothes, only the appearance? What about other things?
The language of the interview have to
Yeah.
be formal.
Yeah, the language has to be formal. Yeah. What else? Something very important to consider, that if I say, okay, the meeting is at 9:30.
Be punctual?
Yes. So the idea is, another piece of advice is that you should be punctual when going, you know, for a job interview. So you should be punctual. This is very important. You should be punctual. You should be careful, as Crystal said, with the language you use. It has to be formal. I'm not going to use informal language. I'm not going to say, bueno, voy, y la otra pregunta, ¿cuál es? No, that's nothing to do. So they say, no, this person, shh, they put across immediately, right? So formal language. What else apart from punctuality? So you have to be punctual. You should be punctual all the time. Language, formal language. Clothes, formal clothes. In the case of a woman, you can wear a dress, or you can wear, a suit too. In the case of a man, a man should wear, a suit, a formal suit. yes, and also you have to wear a tie if it is necessary, depending on the kind of job interview.
Miss,
Mm-hmm.
what about posture and gestures? I mean,
Yes, that's important too. Yeah, postures and gestures. Yeah, so you should be careful with your posture and gestures because that's the people that are interviewing you are checking sometimes almost everything, even your manners, right? So posture is very important. So you have to sit correctly, right? So this is very important in your posture. And also you say, what is the other one? Posture and you say, Carlos,
gestures.
and
Gestures, the way
gestures.
you move.
Yeah. Gestures, yeah. Gestures, right? Gestures also, the way you talk. You can use your hands because it's part of the body language, but carefully, right? Not like a saying, and then you can throw a cup of coffee, for example, right? And so you spoil the coffee on the table. That's why you have to be careful with your gestures, right? With your gestures of your face also, right? You have to look that you're very sure about what you are saying, right? So you have to be very confident, muy seguro de sí mismo, confident, right? You have to be confident about yourself. These are important things in order to make a first good impression. Okay, and also, to answer most of the questions that they ask you, to give a good answer, try to think about. We always know, we have in mind what they can ask us, depending on, for example, if we are teachers, we know what they can ask us, right? Okay, good. What about the other one? It says, I'm going to ask number 7 because number 6, you have to check this in order to answer me. Talk about why women started the Weavers Cooperative in Chinchero. This is part of the video, of a video that Ricardo, I think, showed you. Weavers, it's called Weavers in Unit 1, I guess. And then talk about the type of music you can't stand or the type of music you are into it. What about the type of music you can't stand? Juan, can you talk about the type of music you can't stand? Juan, or did you leave or not? Juan Rivera, are you still with us? I guess he's not. Catalina, so Catalina,
Yep.
yeah, okay. So can you talk about the music you can't stand, Juan? We have different kinds of music now. There are lots of types. So what is the one that you can't stand?
Cumbia. I can stand with
okay.
cumbia.
Yeah, you can stand cumbia. All right. Why, Juan?
Can you repeat the question?
Why can't you stand cumbia? Why can't you stand cumbia?
Because that's because the instruments are happy, so I like it. I love it.
Can you start again, please? Well, you say that you can't stand cumbia, right? Is that right?
No. I said I can.
But my question is the music you can't stand.
All right. With rock and roll.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to dancing. I don't know how to. I can't express. So I think that's it.
Okay, who can help Juan? Who can help Juan to answer this question? The music you can't stand. Carlos, Braulio, Cata, Crystal, Gloria.
There's no music I can't stand actually. There are things that I don't like, but I just deal with it. I don't know. It's not like I can't listen to something.
Okay. And Kata, what is the music
Mm,
you can't stand? Because there are people who can't stand certain styles of music.
I can't stand rap. I mean, I like it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you can't stand it.
Yes.
And you,
Uh,
Carlos, is there any kind of music you can't
well,
stand?
well, I mean, there. Have you ever heard about trap?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there are some occasions when I can stand it. Okay.
Yeah.
Only when I'm drunk. Okay. Only when I'm drunk and I'm with my friends. But when I'm sober, no, I can't usually stand it.
Yeah.
That's the main
Okay.
idea about it.
Okay. Is this the type of music that, for example, Princesa Alba, Paloma Mami, and these kind of singers sing?
I mean, yeah.
Por
Yeah.
example,
I guess. In some cases.
do you know who Pablito Chile is?
Pablito what?
But this is the actually trap because trap
Contando lo
origins.
fardo.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one?
Lo
Chicharrón,
fardo.
chicharrón.
Smoking a blunt. Una vacunación.
Fumando un
Ah,
batardo.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the main idea.
yeah, that's the one you can't stand. All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
not
I did a research, a couple of weeks ago, only a couple of weeks ago, about Paloma Mami, because I didn't know Paloma Mami, believe it or not. It was the first time that I heard about Paloma Mami. Because my students said, Miss Mommy. I said, what, Mommy? Yes, Paloma Mami. So I said, well, I'm going to, to study about her, and I did it. And I found it on internet, and now I know who that singer is. I know the kind of music she sings, and also Princesa Alba, because I have never heard in my life about Princesa Alba. And there's another one that I don't remember in this moment that I also, looked for her on internet. 3, Paloma Mami, Princesa Alba, and another one. That is the 3 of them are very similar. Very similar. I mean the
Princesa Mami.
no, Princesa Mami is the same mommy, Paloma Mami. Like that I have some students in the first year that are they are a fan of Paloma Mami. And that's why I had to learn about Paloma Mami and Princesa Alba. Now I know Princesa Alba, I know Paloma Mami, right? So, but it's interesting to listen to them because they have another, you see, way of, seeing the music. So it's interesting. It's very interesting, I think. So now I have information about Paloma Mami and Princesa Alba and another one, but I don't remember the name now. Okay, so this is the ones that you can't stand. And the type of music you are into it, that you enjoy it, you are into it means you enjoy it, you are into it, you enjoy it. I really like most of music. I mean, I like music in general, because I feel better when I listen to music. When I'm tired, the first thing that I do is I start listening to music immediately. And it makes me feel different. It makes me feel better when I listen to music. So I think it's the type of music that you are into it, that you love it, you enjoy it. But is there any particular style that you are into it? Like you, Crystal, for example, any particular style that you like most than others that you enjoy?
I like all the genders, but I prefer hip hop and pop music.
Hip hop and pop music. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
And I have something to say about trap.
Yeah.
Because trap is origin in the 90s, and the actual trap I really don't like. But
like it.
The old trap was very good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the modern one is the one that is different from the
Yeah, like Carlos says, I can stand it drunk or in a party, but to listen
Mhm.
is difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Yes.
Yes, because for me, you have no sense to tell some things
Yeah.
like money or I'm the best. I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it's a kind of cringe.
Yeah. Maybe. Maybe you're right. Okay. And let's see. It says, what are the reasons? This is good. What are the reasons and effects why people dance, baby? You remember we talked about this before? I don't know if you were in that session, but we talked a lot about this because this is also very good to your body, to your health, etc. So, what are the reasons why people dance, and what are the effects, of these, let's say, things? Braulio, for example, can you think about the reasons why people dance? The reasons of this? Because people dance for
Um,
different reasons, not only to have fun, right?
yeah, sometimes people dance as an expression of
Yeah,
emotions,
yeah.
like this, like art, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And other times people dance just to forget about things and to feel free.
Yeah,
And other people just dance because it's fun and because they like it.
yeah, right. And others dance because sometimes they think that with the music they can, start being in good shape, or they can be fit in good physical conditions too. So they put music, and with the music they help, to do exercise, etc., or to work out, right?
It is
Yes.
also a way to fit into some group of people.
That's another way. Yes, good. It has, a social objective also. Yes, you're right. Because sometimes people, want to be part of a group, for example, of a dance group, and just because they want to meet people, right? Because sometimes people feel alone, so they look for things where they can be with others in clubs, in groups or in different activities, right? Good. And what are the effects?
Another motive
Yes.
can be therapy. Therapy.
Therapy.
Therapy.
Yes, good. Yes, Crystal. Good. Excellent. Therapy. Yeah. Yes. As that's another reason, you see. The reasons why people dance is it is used sometimes, for therapy, right? Yes. And what are the effects? What are the effects that why people dance? The effects. Hmm.
Well, they feel younger. Okay, they feel
Yeah, they feel
younger
younger.
when
That's
they
an effect.
dance.
Yeah, that's true. They feel younger.
They
They
feel
feel
alive.
happy.
They feel alive. Yes. What else?
You keep your shape.
You keep in shape. You keep in good shape.
Yes.
Effect. Okay. You keep in good shape.
And
Hmm.
you can change your mood.
Yeah. Okay. That's an effect. Yes, it's a good effect. Because when you start, maybe you can start not being like a very motivated. You see, or you can feel in a bad mood, and then after that, the effect after you have danced, you can feel different. You can feel in a good mood, right? So that's very important, Catalina. Good. I mean, this is one of the important effects of dancing, that people change, their moods. I mean, in a good way, right? Okay. And then we have a question that is very important, especially nowadays, that says that there is also reading in the units. And the question is, I put it, are you in favor or against globalization? And support your answer, because all the things that I think we have lived maybe up to now um, are in a certain way effects of this process of globalization that we are living. And so, are you in favor or are you against globalization? Mhm. Free, libre, free to answer. Yes.
I think globalization has some advantages, like connect the people to another countries,
Yes.
another cultures.
Yes.
But I think that is the main disadvantages that
Disadvantages.
globalization
Disadvantages.
disadvantages
Mm-hmm.
are that we are exposed
Yes.
in a certain way,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and some economic things that I really don't understand clar with clarity,
Yeah.
but
I didn't.
I
I
think
really don't understand clearly. Clearly.
clearly, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. But it it got something good and something bad, like all things in the world.
Yeah. All right. Who can help or giving more information about what Crystal is saying? That she's right. But what is your opinion? What do you think?
Uh, it is really hard because
Is difficult?
huh?
Is yes, you're right because I think it's very
Ah,
difficult.
because at some point globalization only had benefits to society as a whole in the world. But now, if you start considering everything, it destroyed a lot of cultures
Yeah.
and a lot of unique things that
Yeah.
some ethnicities had, and now we are almost all the same. There are
Mhm.
just difference between, I don't know, Asia and Occident. But
Yeah.
if
Mm.
you compare a Latin American country with Europe or United States, there will be differences, but not many, because
Mm.
everything and everyone is acting the same, looking at the same things, also speaking the same languages because everything is worldwide. So
Yeah.
it is useful because if you think it as science, we
Mm-hmm.
can grow as a whole, as human beings. But if you look at it in a cultural way, we have lost a lot of things.
Yeah, I agree absolutely. Yeah, I think that we have lost many things with with globalization, and also, for example, certain communities, for example, small communities, have lost a lot because of the globalization too. So now what they are doing is they are trying to do something, in order to to continue with their, you see, roots, and with the things that they learn from their, for example, ancestors, etc. But it's very difficult for them. So I think that in a sense, the worst thing is that I think globalization has destroyed a lot, especially these aspects about culture, right? So this is something that I don't like because culture plays an important role in all the different societies. It's part of our identity. So if we lose this, I think it's not good, right? So that's why the people from Peru, from Bolivia, from Chile, from all the Latin American countries, and also abroad, are always, very worried about these important aspects that they also think that they have lost a lot, right? Talking about culture. Okay, and is there anything that you can say, babies, about if you're in favor or against globalization?
I think that some example that I can give about that Braulio said
Mm-hmm.
is the artisanal fairs
Mm-hmm.
have things that are not artisanal.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are losing the traditions. I don't know
Yeah.
how to.
That's true. Yes, that's correct. You see,
Because
this
you
is,
were to a artisanal fair
yeah,
and
this is,
you can find anything that you can find in a mold,
yeah.
and that's
Mm,
boring for me.
yeah, it is. It is. So this is handicraft, you see. So
Yeah.
handicraft is in risk, is in risk because, as you see, if you go to a fair, and so you can't find the things that were in the past were very typical and were made by them. That's why the name handicraft, you see. But or craft, only craft, people also call craft. But I think that now we have lost a lot about that. And we can find things, especially made from China, that we have lots of things, from that country because they are cheaper also. So we're also damaging our own industry with these kind of things because we have things from those countries that you can buy in a cheaper way or cheaper than people can make it here. That's why we have lost industries in Chile. Like for example, the shoes industry that
Yeah.
in the past, you see, my relatives have told me that in the past, like many years ago, we used to have good but excellent, shoes industries, even in Valparaiso, here in Valparaiso. And because of the globalization, they had to close these industries. So they lost because they started, bringing things from other countries with another, of
Yeah.
course,
And
quality.
people don't prefer national products.
Yeah, exactly. So, and our things are not like well protected also, the things that are from our country. It's not like in the States. In the States, they protect sometimes, their products. So it's different. But here it's not the same, right? We used to having interesting industries in the past, even here, babies in Valparaiso. Lots, many years ago. And well, little by little, they started, shutting down. That's a pity because it's the consequence of these kind of things. Okay, and then we're
I think, Miss, I think social media has power
yes, of course, a lot.
because the connection with other countries or people is quickly faster. I don't know,
Yeah, it's faster. Yeah,
but also they affect the way we are communicate today.
the way we're communicating.
Today,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, the way we are
we are
communicating.
losing the face-to-face conversation. I don't know.
Ah, yeah, it's a pity. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because of the technology also. So everything, has its advantages and disadvantages. So we have to be, I think, be in a good balance in order to not in other things that are considered important to die. That's the idea. Okay. Well, then, babies, we have another statement that this is about Taiko. Do you remember the video? Did you watch the video with me, Taiko? Because I watched it at Taiko. I remember because Braulio talked about Taiko. I have a good memory, Braulio. I remember pretty well that I asked you a question and you answer about Taiko. It says, what is taiko and where does it come from? And what has been added recently to traditional taiko? Do you remember about this video? Taiko, taiko master or taiko?
Yeah.
Do you remember something or not, Braulio?
Yes, I remember
Good.
things.
Excellent. Some things. Okay, what do you remember about taiko?
Taiko drumming is a traditional type of drum that are used or that were used and are used
Mhm.
in Japan.
Yes.
Traditionally, they use taikos for to decide the limits of a city.
Ah,
So
right. It was, yeah. It
yeah,
started in that
so
way.
the
Yes.
limits of a city were
Mhm.
the point where the sound stopped being able to be heard.
Yeah, so you have a good memory. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, good. And what else does the question say here about Taiko Master? Where does it come from? Well, you told me in a way. Where does it come from? It comes from Japan, right? Okay, where
From
drums have been important for centuries in Japan, right? According to the culture. And what has
The
been added recently to Taiko Master? What has been added recently to, a Taiko Master? Do you remember?
Could you repeat, please?
It says here, and what has been added recently to Taiko Master?
Choreographies, right?
Yeah, choreography. Sound, do you remember the guy says sound, body, and mind? So yeah, because they use choreographies, right? So that's what they have added now. Sound, body, and mind. You see? Yes, and also the movement of the body. That's what they say choreography. Yeah, they have added mainly the movement of the body. Correct. This is what they have added now, right? So this is very important with, taiko master. You say that the distance of the sound of, you see, drums travel and mark the village, boundaries. That's what maybe you remember, the boundaries. That's what they marked boundaries. Good. Okay, as you see, so we have other topics too that we can talk. It says, talk about the first time you tried a new skill or did a hobby or sports activity. Do you remember? Because it has to do with the past, I think. Talk about the first time you tried a new skill. Maybe when you were like 15 or 10 years ago, I don't remember, or 10 years old, you tried a new skill or you did sports. But the first time, talking about the first time, a hobby. Juan, have you ever tried a new skill in your life? For example, how to play an instrument, a new skill, or how to maybe to do a sport, or a new skill, something that you didn't have before. So the first time you tried a new skill. I remember pretty well the first time I tried a new skill.
I tried to play football.
Yeah.
But I'm really bad in that sport.
Yeah. So, and how old were you? How old, Juan, were you when you tried this new skill that you wanted to learn how to play football the first time? How old were you?
12 years.
You were 12 years old. Okay, when you tried, how to play football for the first time. All right.
Yeah,
was it difficult for you? Was it difficult?
Really difficult, embarrassing. No, a terrible experience.
It was a terrible experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Why was it terrible? Was it because did you suffer from bullying or when you were playing, trying this new skill or not? Or just because it was very difficult for you?
Yeah, it was very difficult for me. And for the rest of the people is very easy.
Yeah, for the rest of the people, was easy. Okay. The rest was easy. Okay. And did you try again later or not? Did you try again later when you were, for example, 16 or 17 years old?
Yeah, but how I can say in el arco?
I don't remember. In the arc?
The gatekeeper.
In the goalkeeper, right. You're right. Yes, in the keeper, in the goalkeeper, you tried on that. So did you try to be a goalkeeper?
Yeah, because this is easier for me.
And did it work or not?
Yeah, I'm good at.
Good, excellent. So you're very good at a goalkeeper. You're a goalkeeper, a good goalkeeper. All right, good.
Yeah, but playing with the soccer with the ball now.
Yeah. Okay. So this is good. So now you feel more comfortable now being a goalkeeper than being a, let's say, a typical or a football player, right? Good.
Yep.
Okay. And then it says, do the remains of the Titanic should be left on the seabed or should be put in a museum? Because remember that there was an investigation, there was a research about the remains of the Titanic, and some researchers, went, on a special, let's say, trip, I mean, to find out about the remains of the Titanic. They found some remains, but not a lot, because most of the remains were taken by other, they say, by other ships that were from Russia mainly. So you see, they could find few things. They found, they say, bottles. You see, for example, bottles of wine or whiskey, and the corn of the bottles, and it was, everything was exactly the same. And they also found some shoes, a pair of shoes belonging to a woman, and also a pair of shoes belonging to a little girl, I guess, or a little boy, but very little, and just the pieces of wood that are being destroyed, and no more other things. And the things, there is a debate about if it is a good idea or a bad idea, because the things have to be there because of the dignity of this disaster, to keep the things there, staying there on the seabed, or to take these remains to a museum. This is the debate. I don't know what you think. What is your opinion? Do you think that the things should be left or should be put in a museum or left on the seabed? What do you think?
I think it depends
It depends on what?
because I think it can be too expensive to take the, I don't know how to
The
say.
remains, the remains.
No,
The ship.
the whole ship.
Yeah, but there aren't. I mean, the whole ship is not. I mean, like available, right? Because there are only remains of the ship,
Oh, okay.
part of the ship. Now,
I think it can be a good idea to know another histories.
Stories.
The people, yeah, the people that who die in that accident, and the remains can be a way to know that histories.
Yeah, okay, that would be part of the history. Yeah, yeah, because there is another crystal, because they say there's another debate that say that some people are more worried about the people that were in the ships instead of the ship, what really happened to the ship. That's another debate. They say that there are a group of people that are interested in the people there that were in the ship, and others are interested in what it really happened to the ship. So that's the debate. Because the ship, for example, why did so many people die? Because the ship, the conclusion that they got is that the ship didn't have enough, safety boats for all the passengers that the Titanic had. That's why many people died. Remember that they started jumping from the ship while the ship was, sinking. They started jumping to the ocean, and the ocean was very cold in that area, and so because there were not more boats, you see, and they couldn't, survive. And well, in those times, technology wasn't as good as it is today, because they say that the ship didn't have a special system, like let's say, for example, they say it's like doors, that now the cruisers, for example, have now this system that they have like a special doors on the first and second floors, that in case of an emergency like this, they can just push a button, and you have like big doors that cover all the floors, you see, so the water cannot come in, you see. So like what happened with the Titanic, that the water started going up to all the floors. And so imagine the way, so because of the water that they had, and it was seawater, right? So that's why they say that the ship started sinking. But now this is not, now they have taken into account all these, you know, I mean, let's say things that they didn't do it in the past because they didn't know about that. Now they say cruisers are safer. I don't know. Anyway, I don't like cruisers. I am afraid of them. I prefer to travel by car or by bus or by plane, but not by ship. I am afraid of ships because I am afraid of the ocean. I don't like, I mean, when I feel that immense mass, I cannot even breathe. It's something terrible that happens to me. Okay, babies, let's see. We need to practice more. Yeah, I would like you to review, me gustaría que revisaran some of the questions that we didn't answer, right? For example, talk about why women started the Weavers Cooperative in Chinchero. I put it here pending. Otherwise, I'm going to tell you about it. And then we have other questions, like, which is very interesting, number 14, about the marine ecologist, you know, Enric Sala, that he had a very interesting story. You can read it and you're going to find out. Then we have predictions about our country. You can think about our economy, our environment, our political parties, our pandemics, etc. Predictions for the future. Then we have about plans. Why plans? Because I want you to use I'm going to for plans. What things do you think make a better life? There is a reading about that. And what is the legacy of Confucianism in China? This is another important thing, that you have a video about Confucianism, and I think it's recorded. Yeah, me falta todavía, so we have more things. But you can check everything in the book, babies. Review all the units, right? Because we can ask different things about the topics, the readings that you have, that are, some of them are very interesting. Okay, so I invite you to read and to check all the info. Yes, baby.
The speaking is going to be with like random papers, like we used to do in...
Yeah, you can give, you are going to give, for example, what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'm going to write, you know, for example, maybe I'm going to use some of these topics, not all, but the ones that I consider very, very important. And I'm going to add others, and Ricardo is going to, of course, you know, I mean, help, I mean, and giving me other topics. So we are going to put it in a list, and then you're going to give the number. For example, you say number 10. Okay, number 10. Are you in favor or against globalization? You have 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. 2 questions. One is a question, and the other one is going to be a topic for you to start talking. You can talk about that. That's the idea. A personal question, that is, could be about any of the unit, and then another one where you can speak more, like a topic. When you say talk about, it's not the same as when we make you a question, right? For example, what is taiko? This is something, a question, right? Okay, babies. So I'm going to stop here because I have to, wow, 12:50. ¿Esa es la hora? Son 10 para las 10 para la 1. 10 to 1. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to continue, I mean, practicing when I, for example, next Monday. What do we have on next Monday? ¿Tienen ustedes el calendario de los chequeos? La Scarlett es la que está trabajando ¿quién va primero, quién va a ir segundo?